What's going on, everybody? Greetings and salutations and such. Welcome back to the show. In this quick review, we're going to be taking a look at the Studio Series 86 Slug. I might refer to him as Slug or Slag. It goes back and forth. And this is the second episode in our Dinobot December, which I'll be fortunate if I can squeak this in by the end of December. But here we have him in his dino mode. From the side, he does look like a potato to me, so I call him the Potatosaurus. But you've got some gunmetal paint here, silver paint here, gold paint on the head and the jaw with the blue in the eyes, gold paint up here. That's supposed to be his robot feet sticking out, but that's not his real robot feet. They're down here. You've got gold paint on those as well, though, and they kind of blend into the tail a little bit, which also has gold paint. Then you've got the gun sticking out the back. Weapon storage is nice, and it's kind of a silvery, pearly paint on it. We'll take a look at that later in robot mode, and I want to say that's the same kind of paint deal that's going up here. And then this plastic tries to imitate that, but it is molded in that color, and I think that might, no, that's the painted. The horns are painted, it looks like, and this is the plastic molded. I have no clue what I'm talking about. I hope that I've made that painfully obvious throughout the show. But here we go from the top. You've got red from the knee joints bleeding through, and a little bit of red from the chest. You got a port for weapon storage, Autobot symbol. Here he is from the front. With his mouth has red on the inside. There is a blast effect port back there, and I did get a battle target mastery dude at Ollie's, a discount store if you don't have that in your area, and so you can take your blast effect and plug it onto that nubbin, and he can have a blast effect if you want. Hooray! I can show off the features, and the gold paint is even on the inside of the mouth. Here he is from the bottom. You've got the red of the Dinobot dino chest with this pearlescent paint again, like on the gun and the horns, and then you've got some of that gunmetal here on the robo waist. And then you've got some hollowness up in there, hollowness in the feeties, and then you can see his hands, and in the back of his back legs is lots of hollowness because of the way that they fold up, and they are comically thin. But he looks pretty good from, just kind of a standing angle. I like to have his mouth open a little bit, and he's just a potato with horns and legs, so what's not to like? As far as articulation goes, the mouth does open to this degree and will shut all the way. That's it for the head. The back legs can rotate and knock into each other. If you fold this in, you could do a 360 if you wanted. You've got a joint here right below that. It's sort of like a knee, kind of, I guess. It's more for transformation than anything else. And then you've got this little ankle rocker down here, also for transformation. These legs are robot arms, so you've got a ratchet here for your 360, kind of. There we go. And then the robot arm can move out, so you can do that in Dino mode if you want. For your outward movement, you have the rotation at the bicep of the robot, so you've got that. And then you've got the elbow articulation for the robot to work with there in your Dino mode for your Dino leg. And that's pretty much it for him. I almost forgot to grab something. Let's see if I can do this without bumping the camera. Hooray, success. He also comes with this. This is just as disappointing as Spike. Or no, this is Spike. This is Spike or Daniel. What I meant to say, this is just as disappointing as Wheelie, only he doesn't have a slingshot, even though his fingers are molded so he could hold something. But you've just got paint for that dome, 2 yellow blops on the nipples, and then you've got blue paint on the fist and some weird light blue paint on the front of those legs. And then you've got molded gray plastic for this, and this. And he can ride similarly to Grimlock with wheelie. And I do remember these little slots down on the back of the feet are how you're going to want to do that. So you're going to get that one in and just finagle it so that they're both kind of around those pegs there. And then you've got Spaniel. Cocker Spaniel is riding Slag. So that's the thing that it came with. It's in a hole now. I have the core class. It's better in the sense that it can pose more and it can kind of transform, and you can see the face. I might review it with some other core class guys, do a core class catch up too, who knows. But that's about it for his Dino mode. So we'll go ahead and change him up into robot mode and we'll see what happens there. Alright, and here we are back in robot mode. What? No size comparisons? Yes. I don't have a lot of filming time, and I'm just trying to cut out some things that I think I can get away with, and size comparisons are one of them. So if you enjoyed that segment, go ahead and put it in the comments below, and we'll see if people want them to come back. But before we get into him, we'll take a look at his gun. Here is his gun. It is molded in gray plastic and painted with that silvery pearlescent flavoring. You've got some nice molded details on there. No real waffling to speak of. Just a nice solid gun, and he can hold his gun in his hand. There is that port from Dino mode, and mine has always just been incredibly loose. It does not take a lot of effort to come out of there. I can't lift him up by it or anything. So usually I have him holding it. And then one more thing before we get into the wider details. This is how I believe his knees are supposed to go. They look fully completed with this up against here. But one, it makes the back of his legs look extremely flat. And just, I feel like it causes kind of stabilization issues. So I will click this red one up. I will click this back down one and then just straighten the leg out. And so you've got a little bit of the back of the leg sticking out, so that way the thigh and the calf look like they're separated as compared to this. And then if I do that to both, I feel like he stands a little easier. So do with it what you want. That was the official. Here we have him in robot mode. The chest we went over in Dino mode, so we won't focus on it too much. But here, let's go ahead and take a look at his eyes. And you've got a red painted head with the same blue on the eyes that the Dino mode had, and that looks pretty good there. The arms have nothing new revealed except the fists, which are molded plastic painted gray, kind of like the same gray that you've got painted there. You've got green on the knees with blue on the knees, and then the red showing through from the joint. There isn't a paint scrape there, but if you see that triangle is sunk in and only the bottom of the triangle has paint, the walls, so to speak, are they didn't get the paint on them, so it kind of makes it pop a little bit, but it also kind of looks like they're just chipped off paint if you don't know what they are. You have some details here. His golden feet that we saw earlier. You've got very clean legs. That's a recurring theme for the Dinobots. You've got a very clean leg here. If you want your G1 look, you can go ahead and flip this out onto the side, and you can have that if you want, but you get a hollow leg for your trouble. I personally am going to keep it like this. Coming up the back, just all the Dino details. You've got the tail sitting here. It's a backpack, but it's not the worst backpack, and his wings don't flop around. Grimlock's did, and you'll see that Sludge's do, but his are pretty sturdy, so that's kind of nice. And then here you've got him from the front again. As far as articulation goes, this little Tricera hood can pop back if you unhook the backpack, if that's something you want to do. The chest slab again for the head is not plugged in, so it moves all over. You've got a ball joint at the head, which allows for downward movement, upward movement. You can do tilts. We'll go ahead and pop this real quick. Pop this back so I can get my giant fingers in here so we can do the 360, because it is on a ball joint. And then you can work the neck slab into posing if you would like. Get on there. Go on. There you go. And then for the shoulders, it is the same as the dino legs. You can go all the way around. You can go out over 90 degrees. You do have the bicep swivel 360. You have double joint here in the elbow that you can utilize. It compresses kind of for Triceratops mode, but you can get an elbow bend well over 90 degrees. Nice. The wrist swivels due to transformation. No hand articulation, which is okay. I don't expect it on a lot of figures. It's kind of a fun bonus. For the waist, if you get the tail folded back, you have an unhindered waist rotation. And then we'll go ahead and put this back. For the hips, they go out to the side all the way. It's a very stiff connection, and as you can see, this hip does not have a ratchet, but this hip, you got a ratchet forward, you got a ratchet back. This hip broke, the ratchet broke. I went in and fixed it, but the fix did not hold, and I can no longer go in and try and fix it again because the screws in his anus have been stripped. So that is unfortunate, but that is your hip movement. Come on, man, I just want to show them the thighs. We'll go with this leg. Thigh rotation 360 due to the transformation of the legs. He does have a double point. He has a double jointed knee. Get you well over 90 degrees there. Then you just orientate the clicks to your liking. It is all ratcheted in there. And then for his ankle, you do have a tilt. It's kind of plugged in, so you got to unplug it a little bit, and then you can go all the way to 90 with that ankle. So it's a pretty good ankle in my opinion. And that is it for posability, unless you want to count the wings. They can move. The tail is on a hinge to get out of your way, but you can have that move if you want. If you wanted, you could swing the tail out and store the gun in there. It's going to look a little weirder than it already does, but you can do it if you want. And there you have him in his robot mode. I feel like I'm going to sneeze this whole video, so if it sounds like I'm holding back a sneeze, it's because I am. There you got him in his robot mode, and he's pretty good for your leader class in Studio Series 86. I don't have a lot of issues with him. I think the backpack's fine. I actually like that the wings stay in place. The back dino legs look a little weird, but it's not so bad considering he's just a potato with horns. I can live with it. I like the weapon storage in the dino mode. I know people are like getting the upgrade kit that gets rid of that and stuff, and I just like weapon storage, and it looks okay to me, so I'm not going to complain about it. But that's it. So go ahead and give my channel a like and a subscribe if you feel so inclined. Go ahead and share it with people you think might appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the Do the Thing where we look at his transformation. See you then.